Yo, what is going on, guys? AK Easy Geezy 23 here. Big fight card tonight, UFC 217. So, what I want to do is I want to do just like a pick'em thing. Who I think's gonna win? I'm a huge UFC fan, always have been since, mm, geez, it was mid 2000s when I think I watched my first one. Back when Chuck Liddell was fighting in UFC. So, um, again, yeah, I just want to do a little bit of picks for tonight's fights. Uh, should be good. Three title fights, UFC 217. So I'm going to be watching it. I'm probably going to do a live stream of just me while I'm watching it. Um, and then hopefully, if you guys want to watch, you'll stop back by the channel and give me some insight. Tell me what you think. So let's get it started with the early prelims. First fight's going to be Ayman Zahabi, who I believe is Faraz Zahabi, the head coach for uh, George St. Pierre. I think that's his brother or nephew, something like that. He's 7-0, fighting out of Canada versus Ricardo Ramos from Brazil, who's 10-1. Ricardo Ramos has 60% submissions, 20% decisions, and out of his wins. And Zahabi only has 43% submissions to 14% decisions. Um, with this one, I think Ramos, just because he has better accuracy when it comes to significant strikes, he absorbs less per minute, less significant strikes. His defense is decent, and he lands 3 significant strikes per minute, which is similar to Zahabi, but I still think Ramos is going to come out with the win. We're going to move on to the next fight, which is in the heavyweight division. Alexei Oleinik versus Curtis Blades. Alexei Oleinik, he's ranked number 9 in the rankings. Blades is 12 in the heavyweight rankings. Alexei has 63 total fights compared to Blades, who has 8. Oleinik has not a very good knockout percentage, 13%, but his submission percentage is extremely high, so he's more of a grappler. Due to the, I'm just going to say due to the significant amount of fights that he has over Blades, I'm going to pick Alexei Oleinik. Just because, the one thing that I will say is that he's giving up 25 pounds. Oleinik is giving up 25 pounds to Blades. He's 240, and Blades weighed in right at 265, which is the heavyweight limit. But I think this will be a good fight. I think Alexei's going to win. Like I said, he's 52, 10, and 1. So, yeah, that's a lot of fights in consideration, or compared to Curtis Blades. So, next fight, going on to the FS1 prelims. It's going to be an awesome fight. I'm going with Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall is fighting against Randy Brown. Mickey Gall obviously fought on Dana White's like fight series, not the Monday night or Tuesday night fights or whatever it was called, but the TV show that he did with Matt Serra, or the UFC show that he did with Matt Serra. So I'm going to go with Mickey Gall in this fight. Obviously, he's not as experienced, but, he kicked the crap out of CM Punk. And I already knew that was going to happen because CM Punk is not a UFC fighter. But I'm a huge WWE fan, and I was rooting for him because I wanted him to do good. But Mickey Gall made him look bad. And then he fought Super Sage Northcutt and whooped up on him too. So I'm going to go with Mickey Gall here for the win. Great submission guy. He doesn't, when it comes to his striking, he lands more per minute in significant strikes. He has better accuracy, and he absorbs less, but his defense is not as good. The one thing that I'm going to say is that in this fight, the grappling is going to be the big thing. Mickey Gall is obviously a big jiu-jitsu guy. His 4 professional wins have all been by submission, and he averages nearly 5 takedowns a fight, whereas Randy Brown doesn't even average a takedown a fight. And also, Mickey Gall's takedown percentage is 100%. So pretty good for your first, 4 professional fights, I'd say. So I'm going to go with Mickey Gall over Randy Brown. Mickey Gall's going to move up that ladder. He's still young, so he's got plenty of time to make improvements, and hopefully solidify himself in the top 10 here before this next calendar year. Not 2017, but before 2018 is over. I think he's going to be up there, probably top 6 or top 7. Next fight, number 6 Ovince St. Preux against number 7 Corey Anderson. This is going to be an interesting fight due to the fact that both of these guys were right up there in title contention. Corey Anderson, had he beaten Jimmy Manuwa, probably would have been right there in the top, obviously top 3 or 4, because that's where Jimmy Manuwa is. Ovince St. Preux fought John Jones for the interim title, and I know it was like a last-minute fill-in, but it's still, he has that big fight experience. Another one who I'm pretty sure he lost to lost to Jimmy Manuwa as well. So this is going to be an interesting fight. I think Ovince St. Preux, he's just a more technical striker. He doesn't land as many significant strikes, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's just the big fights, the bigger fights Ovince St. Preux's been in. It'll propel him to that next step. So I think that's what's going to be the difference in this fight. So I'm going to take Ovince St. Preux over Corey Anderson. I like Corey Anderson though. I liked him on The Ultimate Fighter. He was good. All right, next fight. Walt Harris, the big ticket, versus Mark Godbeer. I think Walt Harris just fought on the last UFC pay-per-view. He fought against Fabricio Verdum and got submitted in the first round because he was a last-minute fill-in. I'm going to go with Walt Harris here. Not because he's an American going up against a Brit, but I just think the striking is going to be above Godbeer. He doesn't land as many significant strikes. He's almost half as much. Godbeer lands close to 6, where Walt Harris is right around 3 per minute. Godbeer is a lot more accurate, but they're both pretty good on defense when it comes to significant strikes. They're good at defending. Grappling is not going to be anything in this fight. It's just going to be a stand-up. It's going to be a war. They're just going to sit there and swing. They're going to bang, bro. Let me bang, bro. Just let me bang. All right. Next fight, and it's going to be the wrap-up of the prelims. I'm going... Oh, it's James the Texecutioner Vick versus Joe Duffy. I think Joe Duffy is a stud. I've always liked him. James Vick is a stud. Really good. He was great on The Ultimate Fighter. This one's going to be a little bit different for me because James Vick he's a great fighter. He has an all-around game. He's got submissions, which not as many TKOs or KOs, but I like his chances in this fight. However, I think Joe Duffy's gonna win this fight. Just if you look at it, Joe Duffy is, I guess he's a more exciting striker. I know exciting doesn't mean anything, but he's able to, he's got on his record 31% knockouts, 56% submissions, and only 13% decisions. So he's going for the finish, which always makes for an exciting fighter. Vick, on the other hand, only 9% KOs or TKOs, 36% submissions, and 36% decisions. The one thing that I will say is that with Vic going longer with, obviously he's fought these longer length fights. I don't think either of them have been in a 5-round fight. So, the 25 minutes, it's not really going to be a huge, I don't think it's going to be a huge factor, but, Vic has been in there longer when it goes to full decisions. So maybe Vic might be able to withstand if it goes the full 3 rounds. But I think Duffy's going to get this one. I think it's going to be a knockout. On to the main card. Johnny Big Rig Hendricks. He used to be my favorite fighter. And then after he lost the belt to Robbie, he just hasn't been the same since. Can't even make weight, so he got moved up to middleweight. And he's fighting against Paulo Costa, fighting out of Brazil. I'm going with Costa. If you there's a video from the press conferences, like the backstage press conferences or not even a press conference, the backstage interviews that Johnny Hendricks did, and he was saying that he doesn't think that he's got like another title run in him or something to that effect. It seems like he's just checked out. Personally, he's that guy that he was at the top of the top. He basically he beat George St. Pierre. I don't care what anybody says. I love GSP, but Johnny Hendricks beat him, and then that fueled his fire for when he got to fight for the interim title. And then when he won the interim title, he was on top of the world. But then he lost a close decision to Robbie, and then was never the same since. It's like it was the ultimate. It was the ultimate just like letdown for him. And I don't think that he's ever going to be able to get over that. He's obviously up there in age. I think he's like mid-30s. And just looking at his picture, like he used to be relatively in shape, and he just doesn't look like he's there anymore. He couldn't make 170. He missed weight. Oh gosh, I think he missed weight like 3 or 4 fights in a row. It's like you're a professional, man. This is your job. You're not gonna be late for work, so why are you gonna show up on the scales when it's time for the weigh-ins and not make weight? I get cutting weight is hard. I used to be a wrestler. I get that cutting weight is rough. Dehydrating yourself is tiring. Starving yourself sucks. But at the same time, it's your job. This is what you get paid, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do. And I think that this is the downfall of Johnny Hendricks, and I think that tonight Costa's going to beat him. Probably going to knock him out, if we're going to be honest, because if you looked at the way Wonderboy did it, Wonderboy isn't, yeah, he's a great fighter, but I think that Costa is more of a dangerous striker than Wonderboy is. Wonderboy was just awkward because he's karate style with the point system. So I think Costa's going to get the win tonight. I think it's going to be a TKO. Okay, that's my rant. My rant's done on Johnny Hendricks. Next fight, number 2 Stephen Thompson versus number 4 Jorge Masvidal. This is going to be an interesting one. Masvidal's got way more fights. Wonderboy has obviously been in 2 title fights against Tyron Woodley, but I think that Wonderboy is going to take this. I think it's going to be a 3-round fight. I think it's going to be very technical. It's not going to be a barn burner. It's not going to be swing for the fences. I don't think this is going to be an exciting fight, but I love Wonderboy, and that's not the reason why I'm picking him. I want to be clear on that. I just think that Wonderboy has been at the top echelon, He's fought in a title fight twice, and he's gone 5 rounds with the champ twice. So I think Wonderboy gets it done, and then I think depending on what happens with the GSP and George St. Pierre and Michael Bisping fight. Um, it's gonna determine what happens with the welterweights. I think because I think Tyron Woodley would probably go up and fight GSP if he wins. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go. Unanimous decision for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and also his entrance is amazing. Tenacious D, Wonderboy, you can't go wrong there. But Masvidal he's a stud. I think that Masvidal is um, he's gonna get there. It's a matter of time. But uh, you know, if you see him, I don't think he's really focused. He's trying to start fights with like Michael Bisping in the back. If I don't know if you guys watch UFC Embedded, but yeah, he's like trying to pick fights with Michael Bisping and stuff. So it was pretty funny. And now for the first title fight of the night, it is the strawweight championship. Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Rose Namajunas. And I don't know if you guys have watched watched any of the Embedded or watched the press conferences or any of that, but Rose Namajunas doesn't look like she's afraid. She doesn't look like she's afraid of Joanna Jędrzejczyk. And this is, for me personally, I think is going to be, it's either this fight or the Garbrandt and Dillashaw fight, but one of these two is going to be the fight of the night. Joanna Jędrzejczyk, obviously undefeated, strawweight queen. She's a beast. But Rose doesn't seem phased, where you saw other women that fought against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Claudia Gadelha, Jessica Andrade. There was a lot more emotion. I think not so much from Jessica Andrade, but definitely Claudia Gadelha. But Rose, she doesn't have any personal problems with Joanna, and she doesn't seem phased, and that's what I think is going to be dangerous. And I think Joanna Jędrzejczyk has been trying to like bring that out of her by touching her, like going right up in her face and hitting her in the face with her fist during face-offs. And then, just Rose doesn't seem phased by it, and I think that is gonna be like in the back of Joanna's mind. And I think that this might be an upset. I think that Rose might pull this off. If she does pull it off, it's not going to be by decision, and decisions almost always, especially close ones, always favor the champ. I think this is going to be a submission. I think Rose Namajunas is going to submit her probably with a rear naked choke would be my guess. Rear naked choke, submission win. And I love Joanna. She is a stud. But just based on what I've seen, emotion-wise, and then just how comfortable Rose feels in this type of environment with this type of fight. I know this is her first title challenge, and I know that Joanna's going to tie Ronda Rousey's record for most title defenses in women's MMA. But there's just something about Rose that I feel she's going to win tonight. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going Rose over Jędrzejczyk for the upset. Next, the co-main event, Cody Garbrandt versus TJ Dillashaw. I don't know if you guys watched Cody's fight against Dominic Cruz, but it was just an absolute, he outclassed Cruz at his own game. He whooped his ass at his own game. He just said, right here, let's stand right here in the middle of the octagon, me and you, let's go, let's bang it out. And sure enough, Dominic was willing to oblige, and it was a big mistake. He royally messed up. Obviously, we got a lot of bad blood because TJ used to fight for Team Alpha Male, and then he decided to head out to Colorado and fight, or he moved camps. Based on my understanding of it, was that TJ wanted to move camps, but go between both Dwayne and Colorado and go back to Sacramento and fight with Team Alpha Male. And then it basically just all blew up. As you guys might have saw, Cody released video on his Instagram knocking TJ Dillashaw down. He didn't really knock him out. He knocked him down. He hit him hard, just freaking bam, right over the top, and hit him hard. And it dropped him, but TJ got back up. It wasn't a knockout, but I just think that, obviously this is Garbrandt's first defense. TJ's fought for the title. He beat Renan Barão twice, which was a lot of people thought Renan Barão was going to be like Jose Aldo, where Renan Barão wasn't going to lose. Now he just can't seem to win in the UFC. He's hit some struggles. So TJ fought, Barão twice. That random guy that fought last minute because Barão passed out and hit his head or something during a weight cut. So he defended it twice, and then he fought against Dominic Cruz and lost the belt. But TJ's looked good. He's pulling in everything. But I don't know. I'm going to go with Cody Garbrandt in this fight. I like both fighters. The drama obviously adds to it, but I think Cody's just, he's younger, he's faster, he's stronger. I think he's faster personally, and his strikes are precise. It wasn't even a close fight with Dominic Cruz. You knew, from the opening, what I think solidified that fight for Cody was it was about to be a takedown. Dominic Cruz almost took him down. And what he was able to do was he was able to sprawl and then flip Dominic Cruz head over ass. And then, it was a good scramble, and he was able to get out of it. And I think that solidified the fight, honestly. I think from that takedown that he tried to get on, that Dominic tried to get on Cody, he knew that this wasn't going to be an easy fight. Whereas in other fights, like fighting against TJ, able to take him down. Let's see, against Uriah Faber, obviously. But another big thing here is that they're both wrestlers. Cody and TJ are both wrestlers. However, Cody has a higher takedown percentage. He doesn't get as many takedowns, but he has a higher takedown percentage, and he's at 100%. He's never been taken down before. His takedown defense is 100%, whereas TJ's is still really good. It's at 85, almost 80, or it's right around 85%. But I don't think that this is going to be. I think, again, like I said, Cody and TJ or Joanna and Rose. It's those two for my possible fight of the nights. Cody, the one thing that I think it might hurt him, though, is that he is going to be going for the knockout because he just doesn't like TJ. So I think he's going to get that in his head, and he's going to be swinging wildly, and then TJ might sweep in and go for a takedown on those power punches. And then we'll see if Cody's still able to defend him and maintain that 100% takedown defense. But again, I'm going with Cody in this fight. He's impressed me so far. He went from unranked to champion in a calendar year, which is what? That's insane to me. I don't know. It just blows me away that he was able to do that. So, again, Garbrandt over Dillashaw. I don't see TJ getting knocked out. I mean, he's been knocked out. He got knocked out or TKO'd by who's that guy that Demetrius Johnson fought? He's like the magician. I can't remember his name. Short little guy, has a really nice smile. I can't remember his name. It'll come back to me later. But this is moving on to the main event. Michael Bisping versus George St. Pierre. In my honest opinion, I think that Garbrandt and Dillashaw should be the main event, not George St. Pierre and Michael Bisping. Just because, obviously, this is a big fight, don't get me wrong, but I think that Garbrandt versus Dillashaw, there's way more history. There's more of a rivalry, and it's taken Michael Bisping to literally like sell this fight. He's been a prick, like he always is. He'll be nice after the fight, whether he wins or loses. He'll be nice, but he's just gonna be like, oh, I had to be an asshole because George wouldn't sell the fight and all this other stuff. So in this fight, I think George St. Pierre is gonna pick his ass apart. Um, Obviously, ring rust is. Dominic Cruz says it's not a real thing, but I think it is a real thing. Obviously, I don't think it's a real thing for Dominic Cruz because he fought fucking Takei Mizugaki in his first fight back, if I remember correctly. And don't get me wrong, I like Dominic Cruz, but Takei Mizugaki is not like, yeah, that's like a good fight back into the UFC, but George St. Pierre is fighting a championship fight in 4 years. He hasn't fought in 4 years. The last fight that he got his ass whooped by Johnny Hendricks and still managed to come out with the belt. But I think George St. Pierre is going to win. I love GSP, always have. Obviously, his fights are boring as hell. But I think that maybe this break is just what he needed to. I think this is what he needed to like just get everything back together, become that dominating guy that he was, like knocking out guys like freaking Matt Hughes and beating Matt Serra and getting good submission wins and beating up on BJ Penn and John Fitch. Yeah, guys like that. So I think GSP, he's going to utilize that jab. He's going to Michael Bisping's face is going to be, I think, like when he fought Dan Henderson. Obviously, Dan Henderson's was from the freaking massive H bombs that he landed, the two of them, plus the elbows he was able to get. But I think George St. Pierre is going to utilize that jab, probably hit some Superman punches. He's going to get quite a few takedowns. I mean, he has almost a 75% takedown accuracy, and Michael Bisping's takedown defense is only 64%, almost 65%. I think George St. Pierre, Michael Bisping said it best. He said, he's just gonna take me down. What, you're gonna take me down and lay on top of me? I think he said, I might die of boredom. You might make me fall asleep while I'm down there. So I don't know. I just hope it's an entertaining fight, because if it's not, and Garbrandt versus Dillashaw is the better fight. Oh man, I think it would have been better for them to promote Cody Garbrandt versus TJ Dillashaw for the main card, but since GSP is coming back, it's a big deal. I think George St. Pierre is going to win. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because not about who I'm picking, but George St. Pierre basically said that if he loses, he's retiring. But he's been saying that he's in like the best shape of his life, and he's like the most prepared he's ever been, and he's in his fighting prime. That's what he has been telling people. So, but if you do lose, why would you retire when you feel like you're at your best or you're in your prime? Why would you do that? Wouldn't you want to keep going and try to maybe move down to welterweight and fight welterweight rather than retiring? Because Michael Bisping made a good point. He said, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Not if you lose, cry like a little bitch and quit, which is a valid point. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how the fight goes. Yeah, I just think GSP is going to be too fast. Obviously, Michael Bisping has become an elite striker recently. He's had amazing wins over Dan Henderson, and which I think Hendo won, by the way. Then he also had an amazing fight against Anderson Silva, and he knocked out Luke Rockhold, and he's been making significant improvements in his game, and he's not overtraining like he said. That was one of his biggest problems, was he was overtraining. So hopefully it's a good night of fights. Hopefully it's in Madison Square Garden. It's a big deal. It's like one of the greatest places you can play or fight or skate or any of that fun stuff. So that's gonna be my picks for the night. Again, we'll go back through. I'm gonna go Ramos, Olenek, Gall, St. Preux, Harris, Duffy, Costa, Thompson, Namajunas for the upset, Cody Garbrandt over TJ Dillashaw, and George St. Pierre over Michael Bisping. If you guys have it different, let me know. Comment what your thoughts of what the fight's going to be. Um, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be really interesting. So we'll see. All right. Again, if you guys have something different, let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and I hope you enjoyed. Take it easy. Peace.